Frank, we just have a few minutes. I have a question, but that takes us off the subject of China. I don't know if you can guess where it wants to go. I don't know if you want to go
That's
there.
fine.
Really? Okay. So this is from Jose Jimenez on YouTube. Regarding this moment in the USA, what do you think? Is this a crisis of liberal democracy?
No, it's not a crisis of liberal democracy. There's plenty of democracies that are doing fine in the world. This is a crisis of the United States. And I think that, right now, the single deepest problem that we face is our political polarization that has been going for a good 20, 30 years, but got much more intense in the last 3.5 years. And it's kind of poisoned our ability to do foreign policy, to deal with routine governing matters like budgets, and now it's completely undermined our ability to respond to the biggest challenge that we face, which is the COVID crisis. And other countries are not polarized the way we are, but I think that's kind of the reality that we have to face. And I mean, this was the topic of my prior article in TAI, about American political decay. I think it's a problem that is going to stay with us even if there's a Biden administration in November, because, what's really, I think, the most disturbing is not that you get a, demagogic candidate like Donald Trump, but that you get so many Americans that are willing to not just vote for him, but actually love him, and think he's really, the Messiah come to earth. And that, I think, is not something that's going to go away very easily. And that maps onto our racial division. The fundamental cause of this polarization really began with the Southern realignment when the Democratic Party in the 1960s embraced the civil rights movement rightly, and then led to the departure of a lot of Southern whites into the Republican Party. And so the division between the two parties is increasingly based on attitudes towards racial issues. So that, is a crisis of a divided, ethnically diverse democracy. It's not a crisis of democracy, but it's certainly a crisis of our system. And like I said, I think when we had the last discussion about American politics, I had made a comment that one of the remarkable things is, despite that polarization, we hadn't experienced a lot of violence. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And I'm now waiting for the other shoe to drop, because there's plenty of these armed militia types on the right that are basically waiting for the race war to begin. And, that gives them something to mobilize around. And I'm really worried that may unfold in the coming weeks and months.
Well, it is exactly 1 o'clock, Frank. On this sobering note, I'm afraid we have to end. Thank you. And thank you all for joining us, and hope you'll join us Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time with Larry Diamond. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.